I think we're living in times where the demand for masculinity is insanely high, but the definition of masculinity is utterly chaotic. Nobody clearly tells us men what it is to be a man. What kind of a man should we be? In my experience, the more women you speak to, you'll be told that an ideal man should be more vulnerable and that the biggest enemy for male and female emotional intimacy is male ego, at least from the feminine perspective. But on the contrary, the biggest ambassadors of masculinity, your Andrew Tates or your Jordan Petersons, they'll ask you to man up, or in their terminology, put your emotions secondary to your mission. The room for being a baby and curling up into a blanket all of a sudden is very narrow. You're not a man if you do that. But again, ask a modern woman what type of man she's attracted to, and it for sure will not be a competent workaholic or a full time hustler who's toast on coffee, the gym, and is all about going hard on life either. And this is what confuses me. To be a man your bros would admire, or to be a man your girl would fight the world for. Well, we found one distinguisher in this conversation so far, and that's ego, or the more sophisticated, layered word for that being pride. We can maybe conclusively say that the varying levels of pride or ego one has will result into how conveniently masculine they'll be. Women want you to have less ego, but men still want you to be the main character. But there's a twist. Now that we have established that women don't want men with terrible egos, we have a twist in the story. There's a statistic I got hold of. Ayla, on the podcast with Lex Fridman, disclosed that 60% of women want to be submissive in bed and only 40% of men want to be dominant in bed, which means that more women want their man to take control in bed than the number of men who actually want to take control. To not confuse you any further, I'll put it like this: there are more men who want to be submissive than women who want to dominate. Exclusively on the bed, though. What does that say about female attraction? That they don't want a man who controls them unless men do that consensually on the bed, catering to their fantasies. And that's pretty much what female dark romance novels inform us. But of course, with that being said, we have no authority, no entitlement to judge what female attraction is. And no, it's not absurd for sure. This conversation is not about judging women for what their fantasies are, it's about figuring out what masculinity is. But we can finally conclude that a woman in general maybe wants a man who cares and is an empathetic, considerate leader. But of course, I'm generalizing. Now, if we come to the other spectrum of how masculinity is perceived, the red pill guys think of masculinity as a virtue of power, as sort of an exclusive specimen. The stronger or maybe muscular you are, the better you are at being a man. Emotional consideration solely is limited towards other men, if at all it is present. And well, I'm not saying that being extremely muscular is not an exclusive trait. It is. It takes hard work in the gym, in your diet, to be built like an absolute Greek god. But would it work when your family is going through a crisis? When your marriage is falling apart, your friend is now more distant? How do you then work your way through it? How do you not emotionally rationalize it? Grinding your problems away might solve a few problems, but problems rooted in simplicity and responsibility would ask you to be an emotional man. Now, I don't condemn being muscular, I think it's a great attribute. I just believe that going hard at life is not the only conclusive way to win over life. Life needs you to be emotional. Life needs you to be soft. Life needs you to be everything that the red pill doesn't want you to become. Consider the concept of a river. A river, when it's quiet, it feeds people. People are dependent on it. It nurtures civilizations. But as soon as the river becomes aggressive, it floods. When it floods, it kills hundreds and thousands of people. People who were once dependent on it. Your masculinity is similar. When you're calm, people live off it, rest of it. When you're angry and out of character, it only harms people. People who were once dependent on you are now fearful of you and maybe don't trust your unpredictability. I hope you're a dependable man. I hope you're flexible enough to interchange life's roles with your sense of masculinity. I hope your masculinity is not stubborn enough to not change. I hope you're nurturing river. Don't waste any more time on discussing what a good man should be. Be one, said Marcus Aurelius. And maybe you should not be so stubborn that your sense of masculinity determines the pathway to your existence.